Hey everyone, uh, my name is Keith Leveson. Uh, I run a local lifestyle brand, My Great Orlando. Um, if this is your first time watching or joining one of my live events, welcome. I'm really excited today to talk to you guys about something that to me was just one of the most outstanding experiences that I've ever had in my entire life. Um, we ended up going to Crystal River and swimming with the manatees. And if you've never done it, it is uh, almost like a life changing experience. It's outstanding. So let's just talk about a few things, back up, talk about a few things. Maybe the first thing that you're thinking about is maybe you don't want to get in the water. And that's fine. Some people stay in the boat. You can do boat tours in Crystal River and, see the manatees that way. Other people canoe or kayak and see the manatees like that. One real cool thing to know is that the manatees are in Crystal River and Homosassa Springs, especially during the winter months. So right now, December, January, February, if you want to go see the manatees, now is the time to see them. If you are more adventurous and you want to get in the water and swim with the manatee, you can do that. People of any age can really participate. The only thing you really need to know how to do is swim. So children as young as 3 years old can go on this trip, on this journey, and really enjoy it and be very safe. If you're looking for some great people to go and do this with, I really suggest American Pro Diving Center. They were very informative. One thing I really appreciated about them, though, is as much as they took care of the people and the guests on the boat to make sure that they had a good time, to really get the most out of the experience, they were also very concerned about protecting the manatees. And it was I am a big animal lover. My daughter is a big animal lover. I've lived in the rainforest. I love animals. So one of the big things to me is always making sure animals are protected, especially in human interactions like this. And American Pro Diving Center, they did a great job in watching individuals, making sure that they were interacting, especially children, because kids, I have a daughter, kids can get overexcited and maybe not realize that they're hurting an animal. But they were very good at watching everyone and making sure that everyone participated in a safe way, not just for the humans, but for the animals as well. So our adventure kind of began. We get there, we go through a little brief orientation, then we drive to the location where the boat is. And you get on the boat and you basically start driving around looking for manatees. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you've ever been fishing or scuba diving. Looking for a specific animal is hard. I mean, it's almost impossible to guarantee that you're going to see a specific animal. If you're going fishing to catch a specific fish, it's hard to guarantee that you will catch that fish. As if you go scuba diving, it's hard to guarantee that you're going to see a particular animal under the ocean. But there are so many manatees in Homosassa, in Crystal River, that within 10 minutes I mean, we had barely left the dock, and boom, right there, manatees. So you throw on your gear, which is basically a wetsuit, mask, snorkel, some fins. I think we had fins. And you just jump right in the water. Now, here's the cool thing about swimming with manatees. They are like, it's so hard to explain. It's like swimming with a gentle giant. So my experience, right? Here I am, I'm in the water, and I'm going to be honest, I've scuba dived since I was 13 years old. I'm in the water is murky, and I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me. I'm just swimming. They said there was a manatee in this area. I don't see anything. I'm kicking around, and all of a sudden, this humongous creature comes up out of a cloud, out of this foggy, dirty water, and all of a sudden, here's this manatee right in front of me. And I'm not gonna lie, I freaked out. It scared me, you know? And remind you, I've been scuba diving since I was 13 years old. And I've scuba dived in the Great Lakes. I've scuba dived all over the world. And I'm used to cloudy situations where the visibility isn't that great. And here I am. And this humongous creature, they're huge, just all of a sudden comes up. And you're sitting there, and I freaked out a little bit, honestly. But in your mind, you're almost thinking like, this animal should hurt me. Like, I'm in its habitat. It's 800 pounds. Who know? I don't know how many pounds they are. They're a huge animal. It could easily destroy me. Here's this huge animal, and it comes up out of this murky fog so elegantly, so gently, without making any waves, without causing any splash. It just rises up, and here it is, and it wants you to pet it. Like, that was the crazy thing. Like, I'm not lying. The manatees they want you to reach out and touch them. So I'm sitting there, and I'm keeping to myself because I'm kind of scared. And this manatee comes up right next to me and starts bumping into me. But not hurting me, it's bumping me. Like, touch me, you know? So I reach out, and I pet this animal, and I think that's it, okay? I touched a manatee, that's it, it's going to disappear. And sure enough, it did kind of disappear back into the mist, back into this cloud of water. It disappeared. And I was like, whoa, what an amazing experience. I touched this beautiful animal, and it was so gentle, so like you could sense the kindness of the animal. And in this world, kindness is something we all need, to feel just pure goodness. And it radiates from these animals, just pure goodness. There's no ill will, there's no meanness, they're gentle animals. And it disappears, and I think that's it. You know, this was my experience. I touched it once. No, this animal comes right back up, and it keeps following me. I'm not following it, it's following me. And it wants to be with you. And it is such a beautiful, life-changing experience to think that children from 3 years old up to senior citizens, 70, 80 years old, can climb in the water and have this experience with such a gentle animal. They're so kind. And we saw several throughout our trip. When you find some, you stay in an area, and when they're kind of done with you, you know, they disappear, and you jump back onto the boat, and you go and you look for more. So we ran into a couple, and the experience was very similar over and over and over again. It wasn't like these animals had grown accustomed to human interaction. And here's what I mean. So there was one time I was scuba diving in Key Largo, and there is a wreck where they basically, it's not a shipwreck, but they sunk a statue of Jesus, and it's called Christ of the Abyss. And we were scuba diving there, and there was this big barracuda, and the big barracuda was interacting with us in an inappropriate way, a way that you could tell people have been feeding this barracuda because it came to expect food. And when we didn't give it food, it became a little aggressive and so forth. And eventually we had to leave and get back on the boat. But it was a big ordeal. But you could tell that people had interacted with that barracuda, that great, beautiful barracuda, in the wrong way. They were feeding it, they were doing things with it that they shouldn't be doing. And a matter of fact, I do believe a few years after that, somebody was attacked by that barracuda. But that's not the barracuda's fault. That was human interactions, inappropriate human interactions with an animal. With manatees, it's very different. You can tell these animals, these interactions, they're not inappropriate. These animals are drawn to people, and they are not aggressive in any manner. They are gentle. They are kind. It's almost like a dog just coming up, or a cat coming up and rubbing against your leg, asking you to give it attention. So the interaction with these animals are quite amazing. If you haven't done it, you really need to plan on doing it. December, January, February, those are the months to schedule it. Reach out to the people at American Pro Diving Center. They're great. They also certified my wife as a scuba diver, so I trust them immensely. They are great people. They love animals. They love people, and they want to keep interactions safe. And they absolutely do that. If you're afraid to get in the water, because I understand some people don't swim, some people don't have good experiences with water, that's fine, but don't miss out on the experience. And that's where things like riding in the boat, being able to see these beautiful, gentle creatures in their natural habitat, or going kayaking and seeing these beautiful creatures, it's an amazing experience. Now, if you've watched a few of my live Facebook Live events, I love food. And I am not going to end this Facebook Live event without giving you the lowdown on some amazing food if you go to Crystal River to see these beautiful animals. So where are you going to go to eat? That's really the question. And the answer 100% is Seafood Cellar and Cafe. I have gone to Seafood Cellar and Cafe, I can't even count how many times. To give you an idea, I have literally tried every single thing on their menu. And it's not a small menu. It's not like, hey, I've tried everything on the menu, but there's only 5 items. No, I have tried everything on their menu, and guess what? I have never once put something in my mouth from them that was not delicious. Every single thing on their menu is outstanding. So if you get a chance, make sure you go. One real good thing to know, they get packed. So if you're like, oh, I'm just going to show up and do this, casually, we'll show up after our trip to see the manatees, you might end up having to wait a while. So they get real packed. a good way to avoid that is make sure that you are there right when they open if you're not going to try and set up some sort of reservation. I don't know if they're still doing reservations or not, but if they are, call ahead, set up a reservation. If you're not the type of person that wants to plan ahead like that, then a big thing, just make sure you're there when they open, because otherwise you might have a long wait and you do not want to miss out on their food. They are really amazing. So before we wrap it up, one last thing I want to add about swimming with the manatees and why it's such a great experience. Right now, people are still concerned about COVID. There are still concerns about social distancing and things like that. And American Pro Diving Center is doing an amazing job in limiting how many people are on a boat. The great thing is this is an outside activity. You're not all going to be huddled together. It's a very safe activity. Obviously, you can't guarantee safety in anything you do with COVID, but you consider that you're outside in the fresh air, you're in the water, swimming with beautiful, gentle giants. Right now, you couldn't find a better activity. And this is the time to do it. December, January, February. Manatees swarm Homosassa, Crystal River, and it is an amazing adventure. If you want to know more about swimming with the manatees, you can go to the American Pro Diving Center, their website. You can also go to my website, My Great Orlando. If you click on the tab Outdoors, there's a little article that explains more about swimming with the manatees and what it involves and how many gather there. And it's well over 1,000 come there. And it's, I believe, the only place in North America that you can swim with these gentle giants. And they are beautiful. Beautiful, gentle creatures. It will change your life to sense the kindness, to feel that kindness from an animal is an amazing thing. So you can go to my website and learn some more information about that. Another thing, you can also always sign up for our newsletter. If you go to my website, generally on the right-hand side, you'll see a sign up for our newsletter. And in our newsletter, we contain information about local events, restaurants, businesses. We highlight some things that we don't generally post in our social media. So you are getting something unique, something different than what you'll find on the website or than what you'll find in our social media. So we encourage you to sign up for that and join a tribe of great Orlando residents that are always staying up to date on everything going on in our area. So you'll get some great information. We hope you guys have a great night. Stay safe. We're looking forward in a couple of weeks to doing our next Facebook Live event. And that one's going to focus more on a real estate topic. Actually, we're going to focus on selling your house. So if you are thinking about selling a home, tune in for that. We'll have some information coming up about that. And you're going to get some really good information about how to sell your house, what to look for in a realtor, what are some maybe warning signs that you may not have found the right realtor. So some things that, might concern you if you hear certain things come up, but also what to look for. So we encourage you to look out for our next Facebook Live event. We hope you guys have a great evening. If you get a chance, go to Crystal River and swim with the manatees. It is an amazing experience. Stay safe, and thank you for joining me tonight.